Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another LinkedIn Live experience. We are here to talk about the Career and Care Summit, which was absolutely phenomenal. As you saw in the intro, it was on March 21st, so last Saturday. In the city of Philadelphia. So that's our recap. That's what we're going to do, talk about today. So if that's what you're here for, I am excited that you're here. My name is Leah C. Murphy. I am the CEO and founder of Career Gems for the Journey, where we help talented professionals build thriving careers. And I am still processing all that happened with the Career and Care Summit. But if you're with me here live and you could drop your city in the chat, I would really appreciate it. I always love to know who is riding with us, who's a part of the live experience. Because we love to know who the people are who were in person at the summit and also who's been riding with us live on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So go ahead and drop your city in the chat. We'll try to make sure we give you a shout out before it's all said and done. So at the time that we're recording is March 31st, 2026. Today is, 10 days after the Career and Care Summit itself actually happened. And I am so just overwhelmed with two words. The first one is relief, right? The first word is very much relief that the summit went well, that people had great experiences, that overall the summit itself was successful, because I have to make sure that I acknowledge my team worked tirelessly behind the scenes to bring the Career and Care Summit to life. So I could not have done any of what we do here at Career Gems for the Journey without the broader team. So shout out to Erica, to Kara, and to Michaela, who are actually team members who work with us on a regular basis for Career Gems for the Journey. And shout out to Amma Gordon, who is our former, she's our co-host from the podcast when we started the Career Gems for the Journey podcast, but she also was a huge support behind the scenes for marketing for the actual event. So I needed to make sure that I acknowledged my team because it was a heavy lift in order to make it happen. And you guys probably have seen them on social media. We did all kinds of reach outs, right? We did social media marketing. We did traditional marketing. We were on the radio. We were sending out emails. We were doing so many things, and all that was really possible because my team was in the background really putting in the work to make it happen. So shout out to all of them for just being amazing. Now, the other people that I have to must shout out before I get too deep into what the recap was is to all of our sponsors. We had the most phenomenal sponsor partners for the Career and Care Summit. It exceeded my expectations. When you go out and you have an idea and you are trying to bring it to life, right? And I'll speak for myself. Having the idea to start the summit and really fill the gap for professional women who are in need of support systems around the areas of career, community, and care, that's really where the vision of the Career and Care Summit was born. So I had that vision because I get to work with professionals on a regular basis, and I understand what they are navigating and what tools they'll need in order to be supportive. But to then convince other people on the outside of the work that we do here at Career Gems for the Journey that it is a worthwhile investment and it is a great partnership opportunity. It's a good business decision for them to come on board and to support us as a sponsor. That was another level. And if you guys want, there'll be an opportunity another time for me to talk about what it looks like to actively go and pursue looking for partnerships and collaborations as a small business owner and also as someone who is really passionate about the work that they do. I had a lot of people who reached out and commented like, how did you do it? How did all these things happen? How did you put it together behind the scenes? I'm not going to get into all that today on the recap, but if you're really serious and you want to know more about that, go ahead and slide into my DMs, send me a note, mention sponsorship or mention collaboration in that DM, and I will go deeper into that. But our partners were phenomenal. Our first partner was actually First Trust Bank and Financial Resources and Wealth Management Services. They were absolutely a phenomenal partner. We also had Independence Blue Cross, top tier. They were a returning sponsor, so we really feel fortunate to be able to partner with them 2 years in a row. They were with us for the inaugural summit and then came back again this year. So hats off to them. We also had Mars Snacking North America. as a new sponsor that came to the table. Absolutely phenomenal sponsor, Anton Vincent, who leads marketing over at Mars Snacking North America, was just a great partner, said yes, did the things, made it happen. So we appreciate that. And then we had some amazing local sponsors in the area, in the Philadelphia area, who dove in and really wanted to make sure that this event happened and that they wanted to be great collaboration partners. So one of them was from out of town, and that was Pays Leadership Consulting. You guys will be familiar with Pays Leadership Consulting because I get the opportunity to work with Melva Holt, who is their CEO. And you guys have seen her on the podcast. You've seen her on our LinkedIn Live. She's a friend of Career Jumps for the Journey. So her organization was able to come in all the way up from Atlanta. Melva traveled a long distance to be there in person, supported us as a sponsor, and also brought the heat during her session. Absolutely amazing. We also had the Ladipo Group. The Ladipo Group led by Tanya Ladipo, who is a Titan 100 in business. She is all of the things in the city of Philadelphia, does phenomenal work. She had come back for our second Career and Care Summit. So she was with us for the inaugural event and then came back this time as a sponsor as well as a speaker. So the lineup was crazy. We had Bare Hand Love Cuisine, who was our caterer and our food sponsor. Amazing to work with, fellow Temple University alumni. Shout out to Chef Ryan. That was amazing. Food was delicious. All of the feedback in the comment section on social media as well as in the survey gave them major shout outs. We also had Jefferson Health, which is a local health system that was a returning sponsor. So they came back 2 years in a row also. So really, really significant and impactful to have 2 year in a row sponsors. So thank you so much to Jefferson Health, who also sent employees and staff members from Jefferson to participate in the summit. Had a phenomenal experience getting to meet them and connect with them. And the early feedback from that part of the organization and from the employees of Jefferson Health was overwhelmingly positive. So we're really glad they got to not only be a part of the sponsorship, but also be a part of the attendees. It was just exactly what we would have wanted. And then finally, we had Shavu Consulting. So Shavu Consulting was another local sponsor. They were also our event planner and our strategic partner in navigating the Career and Care Summit. They have been with us for 2 years now also. We feel really, really good about having local as well as regional and national sponsors for the Career and Care Summit. It made all the difference in the world to have this broad audience of sponsors who were fully bought in to the Career and Care Summit. And they did the things. They brought the things, they brought the people, they invested resources, they invested time and energy. They were speakers, they did all of the things for the Career and Care Summit. So huge, huge, huge shout out to our sponsors. We could not have done it without you. We really appreciate all your support. Now, the actual summit itself, picture it. Picture it, a beautiful day, March 21st, sun is shining in the sky. We are gathered at the Community College of Philadelphia at the School of Business and Industry right at 17th and Callow Hill. So we all show up there. The backdrop is beautiful as far as balloons and signage and communications. We had our young gems who are our 14 to 20-year-old women, young women who were a part of the summit for the first time this year. So we wanted to make sure that we gave young people an opportunity to engage in the summit fully. They were able to volunteer as a part of their community service, but they were also able to sit in all the sessions and get to meet and have great conversations with some of the professional women that were on stage for the summit. And they were so invested to see young women and see a multi-generational experience in the Career and Care Summit happen right before their eyes. The young women were beaming at the end of the day. They were tired because they had worked the full day, but they were absolutely beaming at the true identification of what real representation looks like to them right here in their own hometown. So it made a huge difference for us to be able to invest in young people and also give them an opportunity to gain experience, to do volunteer, to get their volunteer hours. And we also paid them, right? We didn't want to, we want to make sure that we are setting an expectation for our young people to be able to do both, to be able to serve and be a part of the work that we're doing here at Career Gems for the Journey. But we also want to incentivize them because their time is valuable. So we made sure to give each one of them a stipend for their time there today. So young gems, top tier, phenomenal. Could not have executed the event without them. They were brilliant, bright faces that were so engaged and so well informed on all the things that were happening. They were phenomenal support staff to my team. So I really appreciate them. Shout out to all of them, to Kendi, Ruth, May, to Rahama, as well as Adele. All 5 of our young gems really brought the heat. You can see some of their photos on Instagram and LinkedIn. We wanted to make sure that we shouted them out. And we get there, and then the morning sessions start. So not only did Independence Blue Cross show up as a sponsor for us, but Reverend Dr. Lorena Marshall Blake showed up to do our opening remarks. She did a phenomenal job her second year as she is transitioning into retirement. She's really retooling her life and retooling her experience into where she's going to reinvest. But she is taking her time away from Independence Blue Cross and transitioning out after a 30+ year career in working for them. She gave our opening remarks, blew us out of the water, did such a phenomenal job. And then after that, we had Sierra Pierce. So Sierra Pierce, who is our nonprofit partner, she leads the National Black MBA Association Philadelphia chapter. So the National Black MBA Association Philadelphia chapter was our nonprofit partner. And many of you would have seen that we did our pre-summit mixer with the National Black MBA Association Philadelphia chapter at the Belmont Mansion on Friday, March 20th. Event went crazy. It was amazing. Some of our speakers showed up, lots of National Black MBA members were also there in person. We had a number of clients, a number of summit attendees who all had an opportunity to just fellowship, get to know one another in a more casual setting, eat great food, listen to some great music, to really bring down the trepidation, right, of like not knowing somebody in the room when you walk into the Career and Care Summit. Now, if you joined us at the pre-summit mixer, you had a preview of what you were going to experience the day before. And we did it at the historic Belmont Mansion with the Women's 250 Committee. Just so many positive things coming out of that. We love the Belmont Mansion and the American Heritage Society, who runs that mansion. We chose to have our pre-summit mixer there with them in that facility specifically because we believe that it really makes a big difference for us to acknowledge the gems that are in our city. And as we celebrate a 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the birthday of Philadelphia, we wanted to make sure that we put those two things together. So pre-summit mixer on Friday at the Belmont Mansion. And then we fast forward to Saturday morning, Sierra Pierce, who is our nonprofit partner and the president of the National Black MBA, boom, she hits the microphone, does a phenomenal job telling the backstory, acknowledging why partnerships like the one that we were able to forge are so important and why we want to continue to do this work in the city of Philadelphia. We believe that organizations who are invested in the cities in which they serve will show up and deserve to make sure that they get the right collaborations, partnerships. So I love the nonprofit, for-profit, public interest kind of partnership and collaboration because it makes a huge difference, right? It makes the lift that much easier, but it also makes the collaboration that much more thoughtful because we're speaking to multiple audiences who are looking to get their needs met. And we think that there are a lot of intersections in the work that we do together. So it made the partnership just a no-brainer, a fantastic opportunity with the National Black MBA Association. So Sierra transitions out, and Catherine Lavelle, who is the CEO of the Philadelphia Visitor Center, killed it, did such a great job in letting us know all the things that are happening in Philadelphia for the 250th anniversary. And really got us excited about the idea of we're in the city, we're here right now, but all of 2026, there will be amazing opportunities to come to Philadelphia to be able to celebrate and be a part of all the things planned, in addition to the big events that we already know are happening, which is there are World Cup games that are happening. There are all kinds of national sporting events, but we wanted to make sure that the Career and Care Summit hit the radar for a lot of people. And as we think about the Career and Care Summit and what we believe it has the potential to be, we want to make sure that we're mentioned amongst the same conversations as other big major events that are happening in the city of Philadelphia. Sidebar, I just left the press conference and the initial launch for Center 1968, which is introducing a legacy trolley ride throughout the city of Philadelphia in 2026 so that more people can see the contribution specifically of Black women than and what they have made in the city of Philadelphia. So we were at Mother Bethel AME Church. It is another really valuable asset that I'm really excited to be able to support the launch of with Center 1968, Jasmine Sessoms and her phenomenal team there to really do what needs to be done and to bring the right attention to the contribution that Black women have made in the city of Philadelphia. And it's just another event as you're coming to Philadelphia and you're going to join us all throughout 2026. We want to make sure we shine a light on opportunities that make sense, that are neighborhood, that are community based, that are specifically targeted to audiences that want to know the deeper side of Philadelphia, beyond the cheesesteaks and the art museum, what else is happening in the city. So we're excited to be able to play a part in that. So that was a sidebar. I just went to that, ran back home so I could get on this live, ran back to the office so I can get back on this live. So I'm excited to be a part of what the city is doing here at Career Gems for the Journey. So I gave you the morning and opening session. Then we ran right into our CEO panel. So our CEO panel really just set a tone for us. We had Emily Waldorf, we had Diana Hausling, we had Catherine Ott-Lavelle, who was a part of the opening remarks and then transitioned into the panel. And then that was moderated by Amma Gordon. So I mentioned Amma before. Amma was the our original OG podcast co-host for the Career Gems for the Journey podcast. She is now transitioned and runs a fertility concierge service along with marketing services. And she facilitated a phenomenal panel, asked a lot of really important questions about how leaders have gotten to the place that they are at, and not in a fluffy way, right? These were three CEOs who were on a panel, and she was able to really extract from them their perspective, where they went wrong in their career. Because that's a lot of times what we miss out on is what didn't go well, right? We celebrate the acclaim and we celebrate the wins. But there's a lot that didn't go well. There's a lot that gets learned throughout the process. And that panel did a phenomenal job just being really transparent and vulnerable and honest with their own stories and what they would do differently. And then that panel closed with, if you had no network, you were starting from scratch, what would you do? How would you behave? How would you navigate in the 2026 environment? That was a game changer question. So much positive feedback for that. We're going to talk more about that because I think there's a big opportunity to really give folks an insight into now, hindsight being 2020, you have leaders who have accomplished so much and made it to the C-suite of organizations at the helm. And now you have an opportunity to hear directly from them. So that was fire, right? Crushed that. And then we moved on, and I can't say enough about the experience that I was able to have in bringing my sister, Taryn King, who is my OG, right? She's like my day one for all of the day one sake. She was able to do a backstory and kind of introduction of me and the work that I've been doing here at Career Gems for the Journey. And for those of you who were at the summit last year, you know that my mother, Dory Bearden, introduced me last year. And I had a couple of people ask me why was that important, or like what made me incorporate that. And the real reason why I incorporate my family, like literally my family, into the summit, and I infuse them in the areas that I think where they can shine a light and they can take an opportunity to bask a little bit, is I have benefited tremendously from standing on the shoulders of other women. And I don't want that to ever get lost in the work that I do. Now, my mother and my sister are probably obvious examples, but there were several other women who have mentored me, who have coached me, who have been a part of my development, who have challenged me, who were there in the room at the summit. It makes a huge difference to actually have those people tangibly there. So I incorporated my sister Taryn, and it meant so much to me that she was able to do the introduction of me and of my work. And it just meant the world because I don't want to ever lose sight of who I'm doing the work because of. And then I'm also focused on the future. Who am I doing the work for? Right. So having my sister and my mother and a number of my, my aunties and my biological family all in the room, my mentors, Emily Waldorf being one of my mentors, Dr. Rita Tolliver Roberts being one of my mentors, all in the room. I stand on the shoulders of those women who have supported and put me in a position, and to Amplified Career Gems for the Journey have been nothing but amazing supporters of the work that we do. And then, I had the young gems who are the future of professional women who are going to navigate these spaces, and having all of those generational experiences and personal touches mean so much to me, and it makes the work more fruitful. It makes it richer to be able to enjoy those moments and to celebrate with them and to acknowledge them publicly. So I'm going to do it forever, right? Like, I don't want to get to the point where everything becomes so corporate and so business and so polished that we can't take a moment to acknowledge all that has come before us, and we can't take a moment to acknowledge the jokes, the laughter, the real sincere connections. And, my mom and my sister are absolutely my day ones. And I benefited from having a rich community of women who are super invested in seeing me be successful and have put that into action, manifested that in so many ways. And even if you don't have day ones who are your blood family, we are encouraging you through the Career and Care Summit to build your day ones through your chosen community members. So I love the vivid example that my sister Taryn provides, and I was grateful that she was able to be a part of it and be there that day. When I tell you that my family showed out to be there for the Career and Care Summit, I absolutely am so gratified that they were in the room. A number of my aunts were there from all over the country. My godmother was there, drove hours and hours and hours to be in Philadelphia to be able to support the Career and Care Summit. So I am rich in community support and really fortunate that so many women in multi-generations are invested in me. One quick side note, neither one of my grandmothers are with me anymore. And I had my grandmothers into my life, late into my 30s, into my 40s. And I carried their photo with me when I was at the summit because as I was going up to do my keynote and I was like finalizing my notes and thinking about what I was going to say and all the preparation and all of the moments, right, to really like take in what was happening, I was just reminded of them and how much, how proud they would be of the moment, how invested they would be in seeing the work that I'm doing, and how their presence would make that much more of a difference of an experience for me personally. So shout out to my grandmom Eva and grandma Margaret, Eva Lee Bearden, and Margaret Scarborough. Those women, like, we're talking about a real change makers in their communities, in their families, in the relationships that they built. And I am better because they are a part of me. So carrying their photo with me up to the podium as I went to do my keynote speech just made all the difference in the world for me personally. So that's a little, that's a hot take, right? We didn't even talk about that at the summit. So now we get through the panel, we get through the keynote. It goes the way it needs to go. Really great experience for me personally. I started off a little bit rocky because emotions were high, but I think we closed it out and really managed to have an important conversation around career, community, and care, which we know for a fact at Career Gems for the Journey are the cornerstones of what successful women need in order to continue to be leaders in their lives, in their communities, and in their workplaces. So really bringing that to the audience and making sure that we are reinforcing and we are separating this idea of individual failures and thinking about what is the collective support system that needs to be in place. And the work that we do at Career Gems for the Journey is really integral to seeing more women be successful and to avoid burnout, so that they can stay in careers, they can stay in workplaces, they can continue to be decision makers and change makers, because we know that there is a shift that is happening for real. We know that that women's rights and that women's ability to maintain their independence, to maintain their professional lives, to maintain their careers is being challenged. Many of us would say it's under attack. So the Career and Care Summit really stands to me as a clear representation of what is necessary, how we resist this idea that we should go backwards in any way on the rights of women, around their health, around their autonomy, around their ability to choose. The Career and Care Summit really stands in that gap. So phenomenal opportunity to really bring that. I feel super passionate about the work. And then we were able to transition into our Disruptive Visionaries panel. Oh my gosh, the feedback from the Disruptive Visionaries panel was through the roof. We had Amy Benford and we had Lonnie Booker White, and that panel was moderated by Lola Backering. She did the things. Lola is a great moderator. She asked the right questions. She asked the hard questions. She facilitates and tries to create platform opportunities for our phenomenal speakers. Lonnie Booker White, who is the creative director and co-founder of Sauce.co, and Amy Benford, who is the vice president of media for Colgate-Palmolive. Just powerhouse women, brilliant. And just this idea of navigating career in an authentic way as a creative, as someone who, may have been on a non-traditional path to executive leadership, but have managed not only to do it, but to do it well, to do it for large organizations, to do it for small companies, to really do it for private sector, for public sector, for wherever their gifts and talents were needed. They had navigated it and they had the stories to back it up. They had all of the receipts. Phenomenal panel, like really, really great job. Loved what came out of that panel. I feel really fortunate to have been able to even be in the room to hear it. When I started doing the research for who I wanted to be on the panel and what kind of conversations that I wanted to have, Disruptive Visionaries was one of the first ones that came to mind and was a definite yes. So I'm really grateful that those panelists, as well as moderator, were able to bring such a intentional approach to what it means to be a disruptor, what it means to be a leader today in organizations, and what it means to leverage not only your skills, but your creativity, and to really stand in your authenticity as a leader. Fire. Like, you absolutely, absolutely walked away from each one of these morning panels and keynote really feeling like something had been lit in you. There was a compelling argument to show up in a way that allowed you to enjoy and you to, reevaluate what it is that I bring to the table. What is my authentic gift? Where is my key points of differentiation? And how can I show up in those spaces? So that was crazy. That was amazing. Then we transitioned into fireside chat with Tara J. Frank. So Tara J. Frank, we gave out copies of You Are Before the World. So because Mars Snacking North America was one of our sponsors, they specifically covered all copies for every single summit attendee. Everyone who bought a ticket and joined us at the Career and Care Summit got a copy of You Are Before the World. And then Tara did us the absolute gift of staying and signing copies of her book and having conversations with some of the folks who were in the audience. So we had an amazing fireside chat. We talked about glass cliff assignments. That absolutely went crazy. I moderated that conversation from the position of being thrilled to sit next to someone whose work I had read, whose work I admired, but also who was absolutely human and navigating being on an independent book tour for this absolutely phenomenal work. Now, you guys will see, you have seen all my tabs and all of my notes that I absolutely read the book and felt really compelled by it. And I was excited that Tara was willing to travel all the way from Texas to meet us in Philadelphia to do a fireside chat, to sign copies of the book, and that our sponsor, Mars Snacking of North America, was willing to buy copies of the book in order for all summit attendees who purchase a ticket to be able to get a free copy. So, I mean, you guys can already hear, I know this one feels a little bit long. It's a big recap. It's deep, but I'm telling you, the Career and Care Summit this year exceeded my expectations. It did all of the things that I wanted, plus some things that I didn't even know were possible. And I think the thing that I'm constantly reminded of is when you have an idea, when I have an idea, when I have a vision or I have a thing, when God drops something into my spirit, the goal is to do everything we can to be obedient to make that thing happen. And that's my obedience, that's my responsibility. But when you get partners, when you get speakers, when you get sponsors, when you get caterers, when you get all of the people who are aligned to the mission all at once, game changer. So we had an amazing lunch with Bare Hand Love Cuisine and desserts provided by Cake It Easy. So shout out to all of the vendors who were able to support the Career and Care Summit and did it in such an excellent way. Our guest experience was absolutely phenomenal. And then we went into the afternoon. So we had lunch, we had networking. People are laughing, they're connecting, they're building new relationships, they are strengthening existing relationships, they are renewing connections that they've had before, and also getting a chance to talk to some of our authors, talk to a number of professional women who were on the morning panels. Just the accessibility and the approachability of all of our panelists and all of our moderators were great. I skipped one. We had the care panel with Dr. Sophia Lubin, who you guys will know. She's been a friend to the show, a friend to Career Jumps for the Journey. She was at the Career and Care Summit last year. Dr. Sophia Lubin, Dr. Nicole Dugan. So Dr. Sophia is OBGYN. Dr. Nicole is a pelvic floor specialist. Now, people might be thinking, why? What are you talking about? Why do you have a pelvic floor specialist? What's happening? There's so much research on women's health that is just not widely known. And as I started to seek out who are the right support systems that we need to have in place as we are talking about women navigating that second active life, that perimenopausal change as they are at the peak of their career, pelvic floor health was one of the ones that came up as the biggest indicator of health for women. But it's not talked about. It feels very taboo. So, at Career Jumps for the Journey, we're here to disrupt taboos. Taboos do not serve us. And we don't believe that we should be whispering about the critical things that are necessary for women's health, for them to support themselves and get all of their needs met. And we wanted to bring healthcare experts into the conversation. So Dr. Nicole Dugan, Dr. Sophia Lubin, with a panel moderated by Tusef Misra, always such a phenomenal combination to really talk about being unapologetically perimenopausal and menopausal. Like, that is a dialogue that I feel like oftentimes gets discussed in our group chats. We're kind of texting each other about what we're navigating or what the challenges are, but we're not out in front able to have those conversations. The spaces haven't been created. The Career and Care Summit was the space. It was the space that needed to be created in order to have the right experts front and center on the microphone talking about women's health, talking about perimenopause, talking about vaginal health, talking about, we actually had we had someone in the audience actually call out the words vulva. Like, when was the last time you got to hear that? Now, who knows how LinkedIn and YouTube will feel about that. But the point of the matter is, why would we feel any kind of way? These are real parts of women's lives. And as they are navigating that second act of life, being unapologetically perimenopausal and menopausal can start as young as 35. So women aged 35 to 55 are navigating this change. So we know that it's happening. So to bring the space and to bring the experts to the table to make sure that folks were informed, make sure folks felt capable of having the right kind of conversation with their healthcare providers as they are making the ask of their healthcare provider in order to support them during that transition. I mean, just an absolute game changer. I could not be more grateful for the experts that we were able to bring throughout the morning sessions, throughout the panels. Yes, the morning was dense. It was dense. It was meaty. It was rich. It was exactly what you needed it to be. And I think for a lot of people, it gave them a chance to have a space that they didn't know they needed. They didn't realize it existed because the Career and Care Summit is just in its second year. But we are looking forward to all of the continued growth and development that the summit will provide. So amazing lunch. Food was delicious. We go into our afternoon breakout sessions. We had the the wonderful Melva Hall, and I'm laughing because Melva led 2 sessions for us, not one but 2. She led my NDA expired HR executive edition, and the goal of that session of the my NDA expired was really to say there are some things that HR executives just aren't going to say while they're still in-house inside of a company, whether they're in a nonprofit, in a corporation, at a university, in public service. They're just not going to say it. And the reason why they're not going to say it is because they are legally obligated not to say certain things, not to give you certain information. And Melva has all of the credentials of an HR executive, but none of the bounds, legal bounds to any organization. So I knew for a fact that there were so many questions that I had heard from clients and from other partners. I'm thinking about my performance review and I don't know how to manage that. What really happens at performance review? Is it real for me to negotiate for better compensation? Do companies expect that? How has that changed in 2026? What happens when I submit a comment or I submit an investigation or complaint to HR? What actually happens with that information? So that was the intent of the HR executive, my NDA expired session. Melva kills it. That panel was moderated by Alma Gordon. They did a great job, had a great conversation. It's one of those things where, again, you're not going to hear this anywhere else. Other organizations, other conferences, other summits may be playing it safe in this arena. And we wanted to disrupt those taboos. We wanted you to leave the summit feeling like, oh, I got a gem. I got some intel that I didn't have before. How am I going to move differently? How is this going to inform the way that I make decisions? How am I going to now build relationships potentially with my HR leader? So that was a really great session. And then Melva transitioned into healing corporate hurt. So lots of discussions for people who are navigating disappointments or frustrations or pain points that they experience during their career. And it's not just corporate hurt, it was workplace hurt generally. So we had folks who were navigating nonprofit leadership. We had educators who were in that session. Just really, really rich. That is Melva's signature session. And she does really great work over at Pays Leadership. You guys should go and find and do more research on her via LinkedIn or on all the platforms. And then, so there was a whole track. There was a career track, and Melva did the My NDA Expired HR Executive. She did the Healing Corporate Hurt. And then Tanya Ladipo of the Ladipo Group closed out the career track in Excellence with Ease. So Tanya has been a speaker with us multiple times. She's been on the podcast. She's been on LinkedIn Live. Like, you guys know that I stand for the work that Tanya does. I think she's a great leader, and I think she's doing really amazing stuff in the city of Philadelphia and more broadly. So she was our closeout speaker on the career side. Tanya's session went deeper. I mean, she had handouts, she had framework, she had everything that you could want as you're trying to figure out, how do I take good care of myself and also be the kind of leader or have the version of success that I see for myself. And sometimes those things feel like they're at odds. So Tanya did a great job just walking us through what that experience could look like and what it needed to be. Now, while the career session was going on, we had the care session, and we had a number of different aspects of care. So we talked about healthcare. We brought Dr. Sophia and Tusif back for just a Q&A session on perimenopause. They had a full 45 minutes just to answer audience questions, real life examples that folks could throw at them, or they could have submitted questions ahead of time. It was, we had to cut the session short because there were so many people that had questions and didn't have a healthcare provider that they trusted. So they wanted to leverage Dr. Sophia's expertise in that moment. Crushed it. Phenomenal. Then we had financial care. So last year, we did a survey at the end of the Career and Care Summit, and folks got to tell us what topics they wanted to hear more about. What topics would you like us to go deeper on in 2026? And we listened. So financial health was one of the areas that got absolutely did numbers in the number of people who asked for that. So we brought our sponsor partner, First Trust Financial Resources and Wealth Management, to that session, and they facilitated an entire session about financial health. And they talked about everything from early retirement to navigating saving as a young person. And then that was Paul Markowitz and Tamara Kukanis. And Tamara works at, she is the leader of Schwartz Financial Associates, which is, she's a certified financial planner. So she was able to bring decades of expertise in navigating, supporting women, professional women, single, married, childless by choice, with children, widowed, all of the dimensions that covered what women may need in order to educate themselves financially. She was able to bring that and did a phenomenal job. That was Tamara and Susan. So I really appreciated First Trust as a partner. They did a great job. They filled an amazing gap for us, something that we had been needing and folks had been clamoring for. So thank you so much to First Trust for not only being a sponsor, but then also delivering an amazing, rich, informed, data-driven, human-specific, women-specific approach to navigating financial care. Because we know that having the resources and managing our resources is a big part of adulting. And as we navigate adulting and we navigate this second act of life, financial health is a critical aspect of health. So we incorporated that. And then we closed out our care session with Dr. Jasmine Tools, who was back with us for the second time also. So we had multiple returning speakers from the first Career and Care Summit to come to the second Career and Care Summit. Dr. Jasmine Tools is an educator. She is a healthcare expert, physical therapist. She talked in detail about cracking the code, making the healthcare system work for you. She used these really robust examples of her own life and her own clients and patients that she's seen and how their level of care evolves as their needs evolve. And it was so important to me personally, as I am a part of a family, a multi-generational family, and there are members of my family specifically that I love and care about who are navigating their own healthcare transitions from hospital to skilled nursing facilities, to nursing homes, to home care, all of those things. So Dr. Jasmine Tools just did a phenomenal job walking us through all the transitions that could happen as we are in a sandwich generation, as I am in a sandwich generation, where I have aging parents or aging loved ones that I'm responsible for and helping to support. And I also have my own young children or young people in my family and community that I am supporting and feel obligated to. So it really covered all the bases. And then we closed out the Career and Care Summit. I gave closing remarks. You know, I'm not crying, you're crying kind of feeling. I'm not crying, you're crying, because it was such an amazing, a beautiful, and I know I've said amazing a lot. It was a beautiful, phenomenal, intentional experience created, cultivated for professional women with their needs specifically in mind. And when you have an experience that is designed because you have a pain point or because there is a need that has not been met, it's clear. It feels that way. It was thought about and it was executed so flawlessly between my team at Career Gems for the Journey and Shavu Consulting, just executed with absolute excellence and brilliance. We just had so many positive initial comments just in the room, just getting to meet a number of the women who had purchased tickets and were a part of the summit. It was so gratifying to me in the moment. And then when I got to read all your comments and your social media posts after, it just set me into the stratosphere. So I feel extremely, extremely fortunate to have been able to be a part of the Career and Care Summit, to bring it to life in the city that raised me, in the city of Philadelphia, which I'm personally invested in, because I believe that professional women in this region, in Philadelphia, the Delaware Valley, South Jersey, Delaware, New York, Maryland, just this greater region, deserve really high quality programming that is designed intentionally with them in mind. And there are versions of it elsewhere that I've seen and I've seen done really well, and I'm excited for that, but nothing like the Career and Care Summit. And that's not even to toot my own horn. I could not have created, I could not have envisioned what happened in the room in person through the real-time connection and community building that we were able to do. I just could not have imagined it going as well as it did. Now, that's not to say that there weren't things that happened behind the scenes, because we know that what happens behind the scenes is different from the user experience. But for all of the users, for everyone who came through that, through the door and left feeling richer, left feeling more informed, left feeling more equipped in the areas of career, community, and care to be able to hold on to those moments, hold on to what they learned, hold on to what they experienced, to hold on to that in a tangible way, and then go apply it to their real life so that they are then better off. I couldn't ask for anything more. I could not ask for anything more. I feel extremely fortunate. There will be more to come around the Career and Care Summit and what our plans are, and what new endeavors that we're pursuing here at Career Gems for the Journey. And I made the announcement at the Career and Care Summit, and then I'll let everybody go. I made the announcement that there's a lot of trepidation and fear, and rightfully so, around artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence could have an impact on our career, right? We are being realistic about that. We know that companies are making choices to double down and invest in artificial intelligence, and that's going to have a direct impact on the career options that we have available, 1, 2, 5, 10 years out. So knowing that, we wanted to make sure that we weren't just on the sidelines advising, here's what we think you should do. We wanted to make sure that we're not only advising companies and our clients, we're advising individuals in how to navigate an artificial intelligence alongside of human transition. So we believe that humans and artificial intelligence will work together in the workforce in the future. We believe the evidence supports that. And because we know that this transition is happening and lots of people were looking for trusted advice on how to navigate, where should I start on learning artificial intelligence? How can I apply it into the job that I have now as a sales professional, as a marketing leader, as a procurement expert, as a engineer? Wherever you are, whether it's a technical or non-technical career, we know that artificial intelligence is going to be a part of the workforce of tomorrow. And we want you to have the tools that you need in order to navigate that transition. So starting in June of 2026, Career Gems for the Journey will launch a full-on 4-hour workshop. We have 2 4-hour workshops in teaching artificial intelligence for non-technical professionals. So you may have been hearing about it, and I know we all are, because it is the buzzword of the last year, 18 months. But we wanted to make sure you had tangible assets and resources to help you learn and be in a safe place to make a transition to using artificial intelligence as you navigate the next phase of career. So we believe that human intelligence, critical thinking, and decision making alongside of artificial intelligence is the combination that is going to be a game changer for many of us as we navigate what is to come. With tons of uncertainty, we wanted to be certain that you had some resources at your disposal from a trusted resource from us here at Career Gems for the Journey. So beginning June 2026, you can sign, that course will launch. So if you're interested and you want to learn more, head over to gemsforthejourney.org, AI for non-technical professionals. You can click on that page and join a interest list so we know who's interested in signing up for the course. All the information about the course is on our page. Head over to gemsforthejourney.org, AI for non-technical professionals, and you'll get all of the intel that you need, and you can sign up for when that course launches. We're going to do small cohorts beginning in June of 2026. And if that is something that is interesting to you, that is absolutely the place to find it. We are invested here at Career Gems for the Journey, and we've already begun to see some of our internal clients seeing the benefit. So we wanted to make sure that it was available to all of you who join us here on LinkedIn Live and on YouTube Live. I have been with you guys for a long time now, and I appreciate you riding with us. This was a full summit recap, and I appreciate you joining us. The Career and Care Summit did exactly what it needed to do. If you are listening here and you're thinking, oh my goodness, why wasn't I there? I don't know. You should be there next year. We actually had multiple men in the room at the Career and Care Summit, which we were here for, because these are men that are obviously allies and supporter of women, men that love women, men that work with women. So we see the evolution. We know that there's so much more that can come for the Career and Care Summit, and we're excited to continue to work with our phenomenal partners and sponsors: First Trust Bank, Independence Blue Cross, Mars Snacking North America, Pays Leadership, the Ladipo Group, Shavu Consulting, Bare Hand Love Cuisine, Jefferson Health, and our nonprofit partner, the National Black MBA Association of Philadelphia. We appreciate you for riding with us. I am so glad you took the time to be here for this. If you're watching this on the replay, I love this for you, and I love it for me too. Share this with someone who was curious, but maybe didn't take the plunge into the Career and Care Summit this year, because 2027 is going to be even better. I'm sure of it. I don't even know what it'll look like yet, but 2027 will be even better. So looking forward to seeing you all on the other side. I will be back with you live in our regular scheduled content next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will see you there. Thank you for riding with us. Take care.